Hello everyone. Still kind of hoarse from last week, so I sound a little rough. I'm gonna turn on my iPad in case there's any conversation I can't see on my phone. And this morning, I hope my picture isn't as bad as it looks like on my iPad. This morning I am going to show you guys. Let me turn that off. Okay, there we go. We are going to make, using Mod Podge and scrapbook paper, part of our Easter bunny kit that we have. Excuse me. We have a standing bunny and we have a laying bunny. So he lays just like this. I did this one earlier just to make sure it worked this morning so I could show you guys how I do it. I went to Hobby Lobby and got paper. I have to say that I don't love this paper, but out of all the paper they had, this was the paper that I liked the most. I really didn't want to do like Easter bunnies or jelly beans or anything like that. That's just my opinion. Everybody has their own style. That's why these are so great that they come blank for you to create however you want. But this was the prettiest flower paper. I would have preferred something probably a little bit more subtle, maybe white or off-white with some like pink and rose colored flowers, but I think it works. So this is what this one looks like. It kind of reminds me of like, I had back in the day, I don't know, my mom's probably not on, but I had like a Calico Cat bank. And I don't remember if she made it or not, because my mom was super crafty. And it had like all these little patches on there and it was like flowery, but this kind of reminds me of that. So with that being said, I'm gonna do the standing bunny. This has a couple more pieces than the laying one because he's got like some little arms that stick out on the side. I'm gonna pull my picture up so I can see what he looks like, and just to make sure I am making the bunny the right way, the standing one. So they do stand alone. I know you can't probably see that perfectly, but that it does stand alone. Once you get his feet to lay right, they stand by themselves, which is nice. The only problem I had was once I was finished, I was gonna put a little ribbon around its neck, and with the ribbon being like a bump right here, it wouldn't stand up on its own. So you could do like a little bow up here somehow, or like glue a bow on, or just leave it at that. You could glue a tail onto it. You could do all kinds of things. You could do different color papers if you wanted to. Maybe the body with like a solid kind of scrapbook paper with like texture, and then do the outside pieces like with flowers, but this is what we are going to do. So first off, I have my Mod Podge. This is just a little tiny bottle. I know that like Dollar Tree sells these, probably Dollar General as well. My paintbrushes I get from Amazon and Dollar General. And then, like I said, the scrapbook paper I got at Hobby Lobby. I got 3 pieces just because I wasn't sure. I have scissors, I have a sanding block, and I have a little piece of sandpaper if I need it. I do have like a little razor. The only thing I don't have is a tiny, tiny, tiny set of scissors, and I wish I had that. So I don't, because it would make it a little bit easier, but it worked. It was fine. As you can see, my other bunny looked okay. So with the standing bunny, I'm going to just take I got a new tripod, so let's see if I can get it to work right. So it shows you kind of what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush and paint. I always start in the middle and then just kind of like go off onto the edge, because you do want it to stick to the edges. And you don't need like a ton, but just like you would with like glue or anything else, you're just going to wipe the Mod Podge onto your bunny. And then I have like a little mini iron. I'm not using parchment paper with it, but if you have like a bigger iron to use, you probably want to use parchment paper so it doesn't burn. This little mini iron, it was on Amazon as well. I think it was like $12. Look at the little happy face on the front of it. It's so cute. So I will take my scrapbook paper and I'll see if this piece fits. And it probably will. And I try to get as close to the edge as possible so I don't have that much like cut off on the side. So I'll just lay that down, and then I'm going to flip it over. And then I'm going to take my little iron and then just go right over it. I know some people use parchment paper, but I'm not. It doesn't really get that hot, this little one. So I just go over it, kind of rub down on the edges. make sure that I feel like it's smooth and on there. It is a little warm, so I'll just set my iron to the side, and then I'm gonna flip it over, and then I'll take my scissors. I always start like at the straightaway and then work my way around the edges. Like I said, if I had some tinier scissors, I thought I had sewing scissors up here, and I don't. So I just kind of like go in at an angle. But tiny scissors would be way beneficial for this, but that's okay, it still works. Then I'll go around the edge here, get as close to the edge as possible, but it doesn't have to be like so perfect, because I can take the sanding block and sand in with the edges. I have to cut this off. Let me know if you guys have ever done this before, or what you've used like scrapbook paper on. And these scissors are probably like, all my scissors are so dull. I really need to probably get some new sets of scissors. But this is a really easy way to decorate anything. If you have any kind of scrap wood, you know, they sell so many scrap pieces at Lowe's and Home Depot, smaller pieces if you're trying to like decorate it to your tray set, or anything like that. Maybe just getting like a block and adding the paper and Mod Podge to it just to dress it up a little bit. Oh yeah, little scissors would be so much better, especially with this guy. The other one wasn't so bad. So I'll take, like, if I have the edge, if I don't have small scissors, like something that's like sticking out like this, and just take my sandpaper and then just go around the edge of it. And then it kind of cleans it up. It kind of rips it off a little bit. And then I can brush it away. And I also want to make my edges look a little worn so that it looks a little vintage and worn out. So once I get like these bigger chunks off, I can just like pull these away once they start tearing from my sandpaper. I'll just rip them away. And then I'll go in with my sanding block and then just go down. So like take your block and just go down on the edges. And then I also, on the other one, I sanded over the scrapbook paper and kind of gave it more of a vintage look with that as well, I feel like. So it kind of like just, which you don't have to do, but I kind of just wore down the paper a little bit. And I'll go back in behind it, make sure the edges look like they're in there, like nice. There's not much showing on the edge here, but I'm still gonna go over it just a little bit more, just to make sure it's secure. But it's on there pretty good now. So that's what that looks like. So there's the body. And then he will like look a little bit, I'm gonna have his ears going down. So it will look just like this. And then the legs will go like this. And then the little hands go like this. So again, with these smaller pieces, it'd be so much easier to have the smaller scissors. So with the ones that are showing behind it, not much shows on this. Like this whole piece right here doesn't show, just maybe like the little bit of his leg in the front here shows. So I'm only going to do that part so I can use like a little piece of scrap paper, because the rest is going to be glued on his body. You're not even going to be able to see it. So I'm going to push this down. Make sure it's on there pretty good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to invest in some little scissors. I swore I had a set, but it's okay. So see how like his little leg isn't even, I mean, just the leg is gonna show. So I don't need to do the whole piece because then I'm just wasting paper. So I'll go back over his leg then. The really catchy part of this project, not with the paper, but with the bunnies themselves, you need to make sure that the legs are put on properly or else they will not stand up on their own. So once we get to that part, I'll show you kind of how I did that. So this leg will go right here. So I didn't do the whole leg because you won't be able to see it. And then the other leg. Again, I try to go to the edge so it's not so much that I have to cut off. I go just about to the edge with the leg, just so there's a little bit hanging off. Then I'll go in, I'll turn it over, put a little iron to it. Like I said, some people use parchment paper. I do have some if I need it. This is an awful big piece, but it warms up that Mod Podge and glues it really well to the wood. So like I said, I cut as close to the edge as possible. Try to get in these little nooks. You guys, what happened to our nice weather? If you're in St. Louis, it was like the last couple of days was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing out. Sunday was gorgeous. And now today we're back to gloomy. It rained all night. I'm ready for spring. I do like winter. So I'm not totally opposed to winter, but I'm at the point now where I'm just ready for spring. I want my doors open. I'm actually ready for summer. I want the pool open. I want to barbecue and sit outside with my kids, my family. So again, I just take it all the way to the edge. All these little pieces that are hanging off will end up ripping off. And then the little leg gets glued down here. So we'll just keep going. I'll do the face. The face will go like this. So really only the ears will show on this one. So I can use this little scrap piece of paper probably. I'll make sure it fits first and just kind of do the ear. Because it's not gonna show, the rest of his head isn't gonna show. So it's hard to get any smaller places with these big scissors. I actually had a razor in here too, and my razor just would not cut. So I was just using the sandpaper. It works just as good. Once I go on the edges, it almost like cuts it right off, and then I can just peel the edges off. I'm sure there's an easier way maybe to do that, but this works just fine for me. So again, I rough up the edges, kind of run over it, just to kind of dull the paper a little bit. And then this will be glued on the back, so the ear will hang down. I think these are just so cute. And then this one will need to cover the whole area. Once I get these all together, I'm gonna put them in a little space in my house to show you how I would decorate with them once I get them all together. Again, I go almost as close to the edge as possible, so there's that much to cut off. I can also link the mini iron into the comments later as well if you guys are interested in looking at it. It's a fun little tool to have. I think it was like $12 maybe. It wasn't that expensive. And you can do so much with it. So I'll just take my sanding block, rub down the edges on this. Kind of dull the paper a bit. I'm gonna put a little bit more glue right here because I see this little piece is coming up. Okay, so there's the other ear and the other side of his face. I don't like this is showing here. There we go. And then now we just need to do the hands. So the front of his paw right here will just be the only thing showing. So you can always test it and see how far you want to go with like the paper there. So not very far off, just this little edge right here. Oh, I do have something small. Okay, so again, I'll take my sandpaper and rub down the little edges of where I couldn't cut because my scissors are too big. And this is still easy. So look how it just tears right there, and then you can just peel the edges off. It works just fine. It's easy to get inside those little like crevices that you can't get with scissors. And then I'll take my black, go over it again on the edges. And there's his Little paw there. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. And then we'll have to cover up this hand because this whole hand will show. Hand, paw, whatever you want to call it. I gotta get a drink. My throat is feeling rough. Don't think this will fit, but no. Cut it too close. We'll have to move on with paper. I'm just gonna hold the iron down on it just a couple seconds. Again, some people use parchment paper. I know it does get hot, and don't get me wrong, it can burn you, but it's definitely not scorching. I turn it over and then cut. If you guys are on, let me know if anybody's watching. It's not showing anything on my side. No comments, no watchers, no nothing. Okay, there we go. Hi, Michelle. Happy late March birthday. Okay, so this one is a little rough around the edges. So I'm going to take my sandpaper and just pull those pieces that need to be cut away over the edge, and then they will just rip off. Thank you so much. And the sanding block on the edge just to kind of rough it up. I will just pull away with my fingers any of the paper that's sticking off the edge. And then I'll go over the paper a little bit just to kind of dull the paper. And there we go. Okay, I'm gonna brush all this away and show you guys how I will glue them together. I am using Harbor Freight glue. This is usually comes with like a long stick so you can get in like little small spaces. It is very runny though. It's liquid. It's not like thick like a gel or anything. So I will place him like where all the pieces will be. So I know that his head and his ears, I do want like both of the ears to show a little bit. So I'll do one this way and probably one up a little bit higher. And then his leg, the arm back here. And then another one. I want those to kind of both show as well. And then the feet at the bottom. So the feet are the tricky part, okay? So when you're doing the feet, I would start with like the back. I just put a little bit of glue on here. You have to match up so that the bottom of the feet and the body base are perfectly straight. Again, this is liquid gel, so it doesn't stick really fast. So I'll hold it up, make sure that it's gonna stand straight up. And then again, I'll push it with my fingers and just make sure that it's completely smooth at the bottom so that I know when I stand it up, it will be perfectly flat at the bottom. You're also gonna have another leg on the back that will help. I mean on the front, sorry. I looked at it and thought, oh shoot, I glued the wrong thing. Well, hello, Finn. So then the other leg comes, oh, this one's showing a little bit in the back. Hold on. Oh, no. Keep this one going, there we go. Okay, so again, make sure that this is completely flush with the base of the bunny. so that it stands up. I'll hold it down and make sure that it's flat, and then push it back together and make sure it's flat. Oop. And since this is like more of a runny glue, it doesn't stick as fast as like a gel would. So I kind of have them staggered a little bit so that the foot is out showing just a little bit more. And then so with this bunny face for the ear, I'm going to layer it just like this. I'm gonna throw this on real quick just to make sure I have it the way I want it, yeah. Because I want the ears to show. And then I will put the other ear and face on, with the other ear dangling a little bit lower. I just love these. These are probably at the top of my list of my favorite Easter thing that we have. They could just be painted in so many different ways. They can be, they could be put in like not a terrarium, but you know, something like that. They would be cute standing just like on a little shelf somewhere. I just think they're adorable. This way. Like I said, whenever you get that glue on there, I always try to like hold it up and make sure this table is not very straight. It doesn't stand very, like these do not stand very well on them, but if I put them on my shelf in the back, they'll stand up. So this is what the little bunny looks like. Let me see if I can even get him to stand here. Let me see if I can mess with my tripod enough to... So here is the standing bunny. Like I said, this table is so, I hate it, especially with all the paper and the crap on it. It just does not, doesn't stand very well. This one was, but it was laying down. So just make sure that you have the legs on there really well when you are putting it on there. I don't know why this one is not standing right now. I may have to mess with it a little bit. May have to sand something down. It looks like the paper's sticking out a little bit. But this is what the standing one looks like. So here are the two little bunnies that we made. So I love the way they look. They can be, like I said, decorated in so many different ways or painted in any ways. So once I get them decorated in the space that they are going to stay for my Easter decorations, I will show you guys. And I hope you learned something new today, and I hope that you guys try this at home. So I will link everything in the comments below if you're interested in the bunnies, or to check out the little mini iron that is on Amazon, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks.